Yeah, so hello guys, it's another wonderful day. Now, before we start, kindly remember to kindly subscribe, share and comment. When you subscribe, you'll be informed whenever I upload more videos on any content. But now for the issue at hand, today we are going to cover a paper on geography. That is a KCSE 2024 prediction. Now this one can be very useful to candidates. Now, as we start, there are several questions I've compiled here. And as usual, I've written the answers for you for easier revision so that even if you download the video, you won't be having to go through a lot of trouble. Now, here we are. The first question asks now, describe the formation of the planet Earth according to the passing star theory. Now, the passing star theory is one of the theories developed to explain how the solar system came into being. Now, when you talk of a theory is generally a story which has not been scientifically proven, but it attempts to explain how things came into being. So we have several theories, including the nebula cloud theory, the passing star theory, and even the Big Bang theory. But now, for today, we are going to cover only the passing star. So the passing star theory states that before I go into the answer, let me just give a brief overview. It's about a star now which had a higher gravitational force than the sun. Now, as this star was passing near the sun, it happened to pull some of the materials from the sun. When it pulled some of these materials, the materials then cooled and condensed. After cooling and condensing, they then started to collide with each other. As they collided, they formed bigger masses. And these bigger masses continued to collide further and further until they formed the planets. Now, that's just the basics. Now, let's go into the theory itself. So, according to the passing star theory, the formation of the Earth is explained as follows. A star passing close to the sun exerted gravitational forces on it, pulling away a stream of gaseous materials from the sun. Now, this material composed of hot gases and dust and was ejected into space and began to cool down. Now, as the material cooled, it started to condense and form small solid particles. These particles collided and coalesced due to gravitational attraction, forming larger bodies known as platinismos. Yeah. Now, over time, these platinismos collided and merged to form larger bodies, eventually forming the planets, which including the Earth, that is. Yeah. So that's basically about the passing star theory. The question number 2, give 2 examples of sedimentary rocks. Now, a brief overview of sedimentary rocks. You can say that sedimentary rocks are rocks which are formed from other parent rocks. So a sedimentary rock basically is not a parent rock, but it's formed from a parent rock. It's like some of the rocks break away. These rocks which break away from parent rocks then come together, and then form other rocks, other new rocks. Yeah, these are the sedimentary rocks. Now, the parent rocks I'm talking about can be the igneous rock or the metamorphic rocks. Now, for the characteristics of sedimentary rocks, for the examples, you have sandstone and limestone. Now, for the characteristics, we can talk of sedimentary rocks are typically layered or stratified. So now, basically, a sedimentary rock, for it to be formed, it involved formation of several layers. This layer is for maybe rocks which come from a nearby parent rock. Then the next thing you find that plants and animals, when they die, they decompose, and these materials, accumulate on these other rocks. So sedimentary rocks is basically a layered rock. So characteristics that they are layered, that is number 1. They often contain fossils or remnants of plants and animals, that's number 2. And then you can also talk of these rocks are usually softer and more porous compared to igneous and metamorphic rocks. Why? Because they are formed from sediments. So basically, they'll be more porous. Now, let's go to the third part of the question. Differentiate between withering and mass wasting. So now, withering and mass wasting, you might confuse them because they almost look similar, but there's a difference because for withering, the rocks will break down but remain in place, or in other words, in situ, that's it. But now for the mass wasting, the rocks will not decompose, they'll break down and then move down under the influence of gravity. So that's the difference. In withering, they'll be at a stationary place, but for mass wasting, they'll be moving under the influence of gravity. Now, withering now is the process of breaking down rocks and minerals on the Earth's surface. through physical, chemical, or biological means without the movement of the broken material. Now, remember when you're differentiating, you should be putting like differentiating conjunctions like a while, whether. So after you stated the definition of weathering, you have to place like a while, while, whereas mass wasting is the downslope movement of soil and rock material under the influence of gravity. That's about it now. Let's go to the next part of the question. Now, it talks of state three causes of landslides. Now, what is a landslide? A landslide is basically movement of, can talk of even soil, downslope, after. It can be caused by several causes, but for example, in case there is rainfall, the rain will percolate the rocks or the soil. Now, the soil will become loose and then it will break away, moving downslope. That's a landslide. So now, in this case, landslide is a heavy rainfall, or okay, maybe caused by, we are talking about the causes. It may be caused by heavy rainfall or rapid snowmelt, which increases the water content in the soil and reduces its stability. Now, the other cause is for earthquakes or volcanic eruptions. They will dislodge soil and rock materials. Whenever there are earthquakes, the soil will be destabilized. After being destabilized, there will be no other option but to move down slope as well. Now, we as human beings, we can also cause earthquakes. How? Deforestation, construction, and mining. Deforestation is whereby we cut down trees. By cutting down trees, we leave the soil bare. Now, the soil being bare, we'll find that it will be subjected to withering and erosion because whenever rainfall falls over it or wind, blows over it, it will be easily carried away because it's not being held together by any roots or something. Now, human activities such as deforestation can also cause landslides. Now, for the next part of the question, the diagram below shows the hydrological cycle. Study it and use to answer the question that follows. So this being the hydrological cycle, you can see these are the clouds. Yeah, this is the forest, this is the sea, these are runoff. Now you have been told to name the processes marked K and M. Now, starting with M here. As you can see this one here. Oh, before I forget now, precipitation. How do you define precipitation? Precipitation is basically all forms by which the earth receives moisture. It can be through rainfall, through dew, through fog, through sleet, through hail, all that. Yeah, those are forms of precipitation. Now, precipitation, in this case, you can say is this one the process. Not okay. Let me start with them instead. So M is evaporation here. You can see that moisture is moving up into the atmosphere. After being heated by the sun, water reaches its latent heat of vaporization, then it will be evaporating. So this is for M. That's evaporation. Process by water is converted into vapor and races into the atmosphere. Now for precipitation. Precipitation is the process K here. This one, as you can see, process K. So precipitation now is whereby the earth is receiving moisture. So as you can see, is the process whereby condensed water in clouds fall to the earth in form of rain, snow, sleet, or hail. Now on to the next part. You're being told to name the characteristics of floodplain. What is a floodplain? A floodplain is also a plain, basically. Only that it has been formed through the effects of floods. Floods carrying sediments coming and depositing them downslope, whereby you have a gently sloping landscape. That's how we form a floodplain. Now, in this case, characteristics include that a floodplain is typically flat or gently sloping. That's one characteristic. Then it is often fertile due to the deposition of alluvial sediments during flooding. We are getting sediments from many areas. Now, these sediments will be deposited in one area, and now this will cause some fertility, of course. And then the other one is that floodplains are subject to periodic flooding, which replenishes nutrients in the soil. So periodic flooding is also another characteristics of the floodplains. So now on to the next part of the question. We can talk of state two reasons why wind erosion is dominant in arid areas. Now we are talking of wind erosion. Now wind can also perform erosion, when wind blows over a bare surface, especially, it will be carrying away soil particles. That's erosion. Now, two main reasons for wind erosion in arid areas. Now, remember, the arid areas are deficient of vegetation, or there's lack of vegetation. Well, you can't say that there's totally no vegetation, but the vegetation is deficient. So being deficient, it means that it will reduce the anchoring effect of plant roots. When there are trees, the roots will anchor the soil together. But when you don't have roots, then the soil will be bare and loose. Now, this will be making the soil particles to be exposed to wind, causing soil erosion. Now, the next reason why wind erosion is dominant in arid areas is that the dry and loose nature of the soil in arid regions make it easily to be lifted and transported by wind. The soil in these areas is dry and loose. That's the point number 2. Now, on to the next part of the question. We are being asked to describe how a bajada is formed. So a bajada, what is a bajada? Bajada, I can say that it's a collection of alluvial fans. Alluvial fans come together to form a bajada. So a bajada is formed when several alluvial fans, which are cone-shaped deposits of sediment, coalesce or merge at the base of a mountain range. That's what we talk about an alluvial fan. Okay, not an alluvial fan, but a bajada. So this margin occurs in arid or semi-arid regions where intermittent streams flow out from the mountain valleys. Over time, the overlapping alluvial fans create a broad, gently sloping surface extending from the base of mountains, known as a bajada. So bajada is basically a collection of many alluvial fans. They collect or merge together at the downslope, at the base of the mountain. Then they'll be forming like something of the sort of a plain, a diverse one, and then this one will be called a bajada in that matter. So now, guys, it's been a pleasure. Kindly remember to subscribe, share, and comment. Yeah, so we've covered all of the section 1. Remember that a paper 1 geography usually has a section A and a section B. A section A usually carries 25 marks. That's what we covered. 5 questions, each question carrying 5 marks. So kindly stay tuned for the next part. I'm going to upload the second part of the paper, that's section B, shortly. So if you subscribe, whenever I upload the video, you'll be notified. So it's been a pleasure. May you guys have a good day. It's been a pleasure having to share some time with you. Thank you.